wound up going to McDonald's and getting a reasonable amount of food, which was like really nice. You know, like,
as opposed to like what? Not
well,
like
I was
40
just like,
McNuggets?
Yeah, pretty much. I got a super reasonable. I got like a burger and fries, and I was like, oh, like this is fine, you know. So I burned 2,000 calories on that ride. So
That's a long ride.
yeah, dude, it was 4 hours, 44 miles, 4 laps. It was 4, with a C4. It was 4 everywhere.
So what made you want to do that? Like, what drives a man to want to?
Well, Andrew and I like to bike. I've always loved to bike. Him and I have been going out. We've been challenging each other a little bit. He likes to do. I was doing 1 lap, but he started to challenge me to do 2. And then I was like, you know, I've got the day. I've got energy. I was like, why don't I push it? I was like, if I do 4 laps, I'll be at about 50 miles, which would be my longest ride. So I was like, I'm just going to go for it. So I just wound up pushing it. Wound up being, like I said, 44, not 50. But yeah, I don't know. Just kind of spur of the moment. Felt like pushing myself. So,
I mean, that's a lot of miles. I mean, if you're going to do that many miles, you could probably bike to like a small town or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could have biked to Bastrop and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be more rewarding.
Yeah.
You might
it's
meet
more
people on the
highway
way.
though. You know, the lake at least is like, you know, you don't really
Pretty
have to deal with
safe.
cars. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit safer. So even though that's where I fell off and got this bullshit.
Well, I mean, you're like you didn't fall off and have a Honduran run you
Correct.
over. Because
Right.
he's not going to stop to call
Yeah.
the police.
Yeah.
He's going to drive away.
We have a Honduran man who's hitting everyone out here.
No. I mean, I'm telling you, it sounds like a funny joke, but
Yeah.
like it's real shit. Like
Yeah.
if you're hit by an immigrant, they are going to drive away. And
Yeah.
leave you
Well,
to
I mean,
go.
yeah.
I mean, because they, oh no, I don't want to get deported. You know, kill a man and just let him die because you don't.
You're gonna
wanna,
have to die.
because you're here illegally. You know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what a moral. And then people are like, it's such a moral conundrum for them. Choosing whether to save a man's life or getting repercussions for their crimes.
Right.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
Yeah. They're gonna have to let him die.
Don't worry, they do.
You're gonna have to die.
No, there's a famous case. Stop me if I get too dark. It was in
Okay.
like Iowa or something.
Yeah.
One of those stupid states. One of the states.
Sorry, Iowa.
They're lucky
if you're
to
watching,
be in
which
the
we know
union.
you're not.
Iowa, you're lucky, okay? Because you can get cut.
We love Iowa.
You
So.
can really get cut. Like, if Donald Trump starts looking, don't let anybody float that to Donald Trump. Like, hey, did you know the number of states we have is bloated? Did you know?
We're gonna annex Iowa to Chicago. Chicago's getting
We're
Iowa.
gonna immediately put Elon Musk on, and he's gonna find out which states we can cut. Elon Musk's gonna come back with Iowa, Kansas,
He's gonna come.
Mississippi,
Then we're gonna need to have ambassadors
a
to
quarter
Iowa.
of Tennessee. Yeah.
John. Okay, I'm taking John Boyd off Hollywood. He's gonna be the ambassador to Iowa.
All of a sudden they're not gonna be able to subsidize their crack addiction. Like, I'm sorry, you can't trade food stamps for crack anymore because you ain't getting no food stamps because you don't deserve it.
You ain't getting no representation in the U.S. government either.
All the guys on the House of Mississippi just get taken off and flogged.
We got him, folks. We have finally made America great
Well,
again.
it's big moves like this that are historical that really define a leader.
No more Iowa caucus. You'll never have another president. My cock is in Iowa, okay?
Man, but yeah, so there was an Iowa woman. She was out jogging in the back roads of some Iowa city.
Yeah.
A nasty Honduran man in the country illegally.
Yeah.
Nobody invited him. Nobody wanted him here.
Yeah.
He's a criminal.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
He's driving his hot beater,
Yeah.
which has no registration, no tags, no
Yeah.
nothing. Because that's how they do.
Yeah.
Because it's a two-tiered system.
Sure.
Right? And if you're an illegal immigrant, you just don't have to do any of that shit.
Uh-huh.
He hits her because he's driving drunk, of course.
Uh-huh.
Because not only is he an illegal piece of trash, but he's driving drunk. So he hits and kills her. And then it's such a media blowback, right? Because the community is enraged that this nice woman has been killed.
Mm.
But not only does he hit and kill her, but fearing that he will be deported so that he can no longer molest this country and take advantage of it, he picks up her corpse and throws it in his trunk.
Woof.
And attempts to drive to Mexico to dispose of the corpse.
Yeah.
And just happens to be stopped.
Yeah.
Just coincidentally happens to be stopped.
Yeah.
And they happen to find the corpse of a young white American woman in his car.
Another one.
And then the media blowback is so huge. The media is just trying to throw sand over it. And they even like pay the woman's dad. And he's like, as far as I'm concerned, Mexicans are just Iowans with better food. This has nothing to do with immigration or any sort of law regarding migration. This is just an accident.
I really want to get...
He killed your daughter and threw her corpse in his car. And tried to bury her body in Mexico. And you're here saying that Mexicans are just Iowans with better food.
I do kind of love the saying Mexicans are just Iowans with better food. Like, if you saw a t-shirt that said that, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I think they made t-shirts out of it.
Mexicans are just the Iowans with better food. We love the avocados. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know what they eat in Iowa. I would say Mexican food is pretty bad.
In Iowa, I would certainly agree with that.
Probably.
You know, I was in Chicago and it just wasn't the best. When I lived in Chicago, I was not the biggest Mexican food fan, and I moved here like, whatever, I'm not going to give two craps with that. And now Tex-Mex is the way to go as far as I'm concerned. So.
Right. Well, Chicago, there's so many good things to eat.
Yes, there is.
I mean, you got corn
the Tex-Mex was not one of them.
Everything's corn-fed.
Well, there's a great meat town, you know, steak and, you know.
Chinatown has great Chinese food.
Yeah.
Great pastries.
Yeah, I used to get really good sushi there as well. So
I don't think I've had the Chicago sushi.
I'm trying to find. They better not be yelling at us. Right. Snipe!
I'll pop off around from my back porch.
America! Huck those brass knuckles at them.
Yeah, Chicago is a nice town. I would like to visit there again.
Yeah, I usually go back once a year, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year. Unless one of our sponsors wants to, you know, Venmo me a couple bucks.
You want to send us a couple thousand?
If you want to send us a couple $1,000, we'll do the podcast in Chicago.
If you want to send us $100 grand, we'll
square it. Go to our church.
There might be a few dollars left over. We'll send it back to you.
If you send us $100 grand, we can go to Chicago, and you can go to our church.
What, if this isn't doxing you, what part of Chicago did you live in or spend most time in? I mean, what did you like most about Chicago?
So I lived in Rogers Park, which is on the far north side, so it's just before you're out of the city, essentially. And what did I like about it? The food, the fact that there's everything everywhere. That was like, even outside of food, just like there's everything everywhere. There's people everywhere. I am an extrovert. I'm a little less extroverted now, but at the time I was just like, yeah, people everywhere. You know, that was really great. Yeah, weather in the summer is really awesome. You know, there's a really good art scene there. Theater, you know, I had a theater company there. And yeah, it was just, you know, it was an incredible place to live in your 20s when you're just kind of having fun and anything that comes your way is kind of cool and exciting. So, you know, I have friends that are actually moving there now, funny enough, from like Florida and like California and stuff, and I'm like, good luck with the winter. But
yeah, I can't imagine the adjustment on that because those winters are vicious.
Yeah, I had a friend that moved there from San Diego. I was like, this is going to be really difficult on you.
Yeah.
She's leaving pretty soon, I think.
She's going to go back to San Diego.
Yeah, pretty much. But I've got a friend moving there from Florida right now, and I'm just, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, good luck with the winter. But yeah, now that I'm in my 30s, I don't know if I'd want to live there again, but it's always fun to visit. I have a ton of friends back there, and yeah, we love you, Chicago. Shout out, Chicago.
Chicago!
Yeah. Sorry, the gun it's, anyway.
Gun violence!
Yeah, Chicago!
No, it's funny, I was visiting Chicago, and like, we went to Magnificent Mile.
Yeah.
We saw Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the Puerto Rican neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, we did the thing, Chinatown. And it's funny, we drove through the ghetto just to check it out.
Yeah.
We checked out the dangerous part of town.
Yes.
You know? And great artwork.
Yeah.
The criminals in Chicago are phenomenal artists.
Yeah. They paint.
But they shoot. They paint.
But they also shoot.
They painted this huge mural on, like, I guess it was formerly some sort of like county building or something.
Yeah.
Now it's abandoned. And they painted a huge mural on it depicting like a Puerto Rican man stepping on like a white police officer's head while holding an assault rifle. And, like,
that sounds right.
Burning the American flag. And it was an amazing mural.
Like, this is beautiful.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, is this a Picasso?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You made a great point.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Loud and clear. And beautifully. Yeah, pretty much.
But it's funny, all the cops that we saw, especially on like Mag Mile, where they're just like on their cute little bikes and like in their shorts, and they're like the friendliest, tiniest little white. Actually, they had all of them. They had all the colors.
Yeah.
But they're the friendliest, tiniest, most docile little people.
Yeah. Please don't shoot me.
Yeah. We're harmless.
Yeah.
Think of me like a crossing guard.
Yeah.
I'm just here to help out.
Yeah. I'm like, what was it? One of those two-wheel things? The little, or was it like an actual?
I seem to recall it was just a little motherfucking bicycle.
Yeah.
And maybe they had like a little towing thing. They were like towing. I don't know.
Well, let's see. I mean, downtown, like down in that area, people just don't want to mess with anyone down there, you know, because there's so much big money down there. So you don't really need your A-team with the cops, I feel like. You just want the ones that, look friendly and make you think that everything's under control. So I guess that tracks. But, food there is pretty tough to beat. The barbecue down here, I would say, is definitely better. And then, the Tex-Mex as well. But
I don't really. Now this is controversial. This could get me killed.
This is gonna get it canceled.
I don't really think Texas has very good barbecue.
Really?
I don't like.
Well, you're here from Tennessee, so that makes sense.
Compared to Memphis.
Yeah.
You understand? Memphis is the king of barbecue.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just kind of.
I've never been. I gotta go there and check out the barbecue.
You should. You should check out Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis is a great city to party in. Beale Street at night.
Okay.
They have Pyramid Recreation, which is a Bass Pro Shop inside.
Okay.
But it's a
It
pyramid.
looks like a pyramid.
It is a pyramid. It doesn't just look like it. It is a pyramid.
It's a fucking pyramid.
That has the
made by aliens.
Somebody made it.
Yep.
Made by illegal aliens.
Illegal aliens in Memphis.
And then, if you get tired of Memphis, you can cross over to Mississippi, and it's just a wasteland.
Okay.
It's funny because when we're driving back through that area, we try, if we can, we try not to stop in Mississippi near Memphis.
Yeah.
Because, everywhere you stop is just, violently homosexual. Terrible.
In Mississippi?
In Mississippi.
So Mississippi is gay.
At least at those outskirts. So we'll pull into a gas station, and I guess mostly it's just truckers and rapists that go there, maybe murderers.
Okay.
And it'll just be the most desolate, rundown gas station you've ever seen. The pumps look like they're from 1965. And then you go in the bathroom and it's just destroyed, lights flickering.
Yeah.
There's just water and
then rainbow flags.
No rainbow flags.
No rainbow flags.
It's more
rainbow flags apparently.
There'll be scrawlings on the wall. It'll be swastikas, and it'll be "Hey, pretty man," and don't be here at this hour.
Okay. This bathroom is reserved at this hour. You don't want to be here.
There's some. I would like to know what the connection between neo-Nazis and violent homosexuality are. Violent, non-consensual homosexuality.
These are the real questions.
These are important questions. There was this park we used to play at when we were kids, and it was in the back of a library. It was right near a graveyard. And this would be in Tennessee. And we would go inside the slide, and the graffiti in there was some of the most horrific stuff you'd ever seen. We didn't understand it, but there were definitely swastikas everywhere.
Yeah.
And penises.
Yeah.
And pay attention to the neo-Nazi propaganda.
Okay.
It usually has some allusion to raping a man.
Yikes.
Raping a man. Yeah.
Yikes. So neo-Nazis are the male rapists. Rapists of the males.
They're apparently gay.
Yeah.
And so says Hollywood. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Man, these are the ideas. I never would have figured this stuff out.
The neo-Nazis are not trying to keep it on the DL.
Yeah. They're here and they're queer.
Yeah.
They're loud and they're proud.
Yeah.
You know. Oh my gosh. So it's just a bunch of gay men spray painting the Cybertrucks is what you're trying to say.
Oh, are people spray painting?
Yeah, they're putting the swastikas on the Cybertrucks and other Tesla vehicles. Which is, it seems a bit pro-Nazi, I think we're forgetting that when you put a swastika on something, it seems like you're sort of promoting it. So they've kind of come full circle on the Nazi thing.
They hurt themselves in confusion.
Yeah.
I was driving through downtown around San Jacinto the other day, and I saw a Tesla and had all these, liberal, shall we say, stickers on it.
Yeah.
And had this vintage Tesla, pre-madness edition. We don't support Elon. And it's so funny how sensitive and concerned with their reputation they are in general.
Yeah.
I guess because they know that it's just a Shark Tank, right? The whole liberal community is oh, we're just one fabric until you're not. Then you're out.
Right.
And it's man, it's so funny that you need to justify the car that you're driving. This is the car that gets you to work, to the grocery store, and you have to rationalize to people like, oh, I didn't know the CEO was going to.
The thing is, like, he's pretty much always been saying like stuff that the left didn't really like. You know, it was just, I think they like ignored it for like a while, and then just one day, all of a sudden, they just, you know, had to figure out what the next thing they were gonna freak out about was, and it had to be that. I don't know. I kind of like the freak out myself because it's just gonna drive the cost of Teslas down, and then, you know, one day I'll buy one of those bad boys. You know. So
you could buy it for a pack of cigarettes in a few years at the rate it's going.
Yeah,
it won't work.
Yeah. I wonder what the cost.
You're gonna have to rewrite the code for it.
I wonder what the cost of a swastika Cybertruck would be. You know, I hope it's at a discount.
They probably pay you to take it.
Right, and then you scrub that bad boy off, making it clear it's getting scrubbed off. But you know, Cybertruck, it's bulletproof up to 9mm. I've seen the videos. So
well, you know that Jeff Bezos is he's not like directly, but it's under his umbrella.
Yeah.
But there's a new EV that's coming.
Oh yeah.
Actually, you've heard of the Slate.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I like that they're trying to make it configurable and stuff like that. But they lost me at the EV. Yeah. I was watching the commercial for it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you can reconfigure it, you can do all this stuff. It's like, nice, because like in Asia they make those kind of cars that are like highly configurable, they're very cheap, they're around $20K, they're affordable, a small business owner could get one. And I was like, oh, this is nice, this is exactly what America needs. We need a car in the low $20K range with configurability that's reliable. And of course at the end they said, and of course it's all EV. And I was like, suck my cock. Just gargle my balls.
Wow, okay, yeah, it's specific.
I do not want that bullshit. I don't want it.
I mean, so having an EV here, like where I live, would not be good. If I owned a house and had like a garage and could set up like the chargers for it, it would probably be a good value. But I'd be running off like superchargers and, I wouldn't want to do that. No,
it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And old houses have no business trying to charge an EV.
Yeah.
Because it's phenomenal of just draw. So like, first of all, we're dealing with rolling blackouts across the whole country.
Yeah.
It's like the worst in California, but it's pretty bad in Texas.
Yeah.
Because we have our own grid in Texas. We're like energy independent.
Yeah.
We can source our own energy, but the grid is like, it needs major updating.
Yeah.
But like basically every house, so like my house was built in the 1980s.
Yeah.
And I haven't yet gotten around to upgrading the breaker system and the electronics, and like it really does not do well with like putting a lot of power. So like if I was trying to like run and charge an EV with it, I'd probably burn my fucking house down.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that they're just not telling people, like, because the people that buy these cars they're basically smart idiots. Like they're just like rich elite idiots, and they don't think about like, oh, how many things can you plug into a house? You know?
Yeah.
It's not on their mind.
Right. Well, I think they make you install like a thing. You gotta get like an electrician to come out and, set up your fucking outlet so you can charge your car somewhat efficiently. It's not like you just plug it into the wall and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, you've seen those videos of like the Teslas, the battery died unexpectedly. Because it's just, you have no way of directly gauging the strength of the battery. The computer is supposed to tell you, the software will tell you, but it fucks up all the time because everything they do at Tesla, they just bumble through. Right.
R.I.P. Tesla.
R.I.P. Tesla. A bunch of bumblers.
Yeah.
You're a bunch of bumblers. So it would be like a Tesla that's like, the battery died out on the side of the road and they got to call someone to get them in gear. And then you'll just see a massive F-250 back up, fire up a huge diesel V8 generator, and just plug it into their car and just start burning gasoline to charge their car.
You're going to have to use gas on the EVs now. It's now a GV.
They're like, well, I have an idea. What if instead of batteries, we put in some sort of fuel of some sort, and then instead of discharging the cells, there's an internal combustion which charges a motor. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Shut up, Dan.
Get out of here, Dale.
Dan,
back to the Dale.
Yeah, back to the boat.
And now Elon Musk, so he's in Trump's ear. He's like whispering all these ridiculous things. He's like Grima Wormtongue, right?
Yeah, basically.
And Trump is like King Theoden. It's all great. He doesn't know that his son was killed in the Rohirrim conflict with the
Don Jr.'s been dead for months.
And his daughter is cute, but she's not like cute enough for the main character.
Oh boy,
you know?
yeah.
So it's a whole situation, and Elon Musk is in his ear like, nitrogen cars are nitrogen cars are dangerous.
Who's gonna be the Gandalf the White that shows up and?
That's a good one.
You know,
question. That's
I think
a question.
gotta be
I'll just show. Cut the bullshit.
Let me tell you all about electric vehicles.
They're going in there like, you gotta check your weapons. I'm like, would you take an autistic man's brass knuckles? Would you take a retarded man's toys?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir. I told you to take his knuckles.
I told you to take the.
You will not prevail.
I told you to take the Autistic's AR-15.
That's a good one. I'm going to tap that.
Sorry, AK-47. Okay, yeah. I told you to take the Autistic's AK-47.
He said it was his comfort weapon.
Well, okay.
He said it was his therapy gun. I don't know.
Therapy gun.
Poison and eyes will not avail you. Donald Trump was up on stage, and he never knows what he's talking about. Sometimes he does, maybe. We'll give him a little bit.
I don't know.
He's talking about the hydrogen cars because Toyota and some other Japanese makers have been like, look,
they're trying to push it.
Hydrogen makes more sense. You put in a hydrogen canister once every couple of weeks. It charges your batteries. It still has the electric properties. You're still off gas.
Yeah.
But we're going to use another gas.
Yeah.
Hydrogen gas.
Yeah.
And, all the people against it are like, oh, well, hydrogen gas explodes.
Yeah.
Hydrogen gas is really dangerous. Hydrogen gas causes fires.
Yeah.
EVs explode. But they even went so far, they did so I don't know if you saw Knives Out.
I did, yeah.
Okay, so they made a sequel. They made a Netflix direct-to-video-on-demand sequel.
Well, it was in theaters, too. I saw it in theaters.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
nice. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It was just a propaganda piece against nitrogen.
Yeah?
Did you notice that?
I didn't, but I wasn't looking.
Because the billionaire in the movie is starting a nitrogen company. They don't call it nitrogen, but he's starting a gas company. His house is powered by gas. And the heroin blows up his house by causing a fire.
The heroin? I don't remember there was heroin in there.
There's also some heroin.
Okay.
So the whole movie was a puff piece against hydrogen. Probably financed by Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
And it was just blatantly see-through.
Yeah.
And then now Trump's up on stage, he's like, the hydrogen is very dangerous.
Yeah.
If you explode in the hydrogen, they won't find a body. That's what I'm told.
Hydrogen bombs. Your car is a nuclear weapon. Yeah. That makes sense.
So that's probably the worst thing about Elon Musk's appointment. Because, I don't know. There's been so much smoke blown about it. I haven't really seen that many bad things come from it. Maybe I just haven't seen him yet.
Right.
But the fact that he's so influential with the president regarding, like, EV dominance, that to me is like...
Yeah, but, a day will come where Elon and Trump have their falling out and... and
tomorrow maybe.
Honestly,
Could be tomorrow.
honestly. I mean, they butted heads on enough stuff, that it's sort of like building. It's like bubbling right below the surface, and something's going to happen where
they're very much being friends.
Yeah.
Towards an end.
Right.
They're kind of like, let's put aside our differences
for now,
and let's be, because Trump recognizes that Elon has influence over like a very critical foundation of what could be his family.
Yes.
That he recognizes that like bringing Elon in helps secure him, shield him from a lot of criticism from like younger, more tech literate voters.
But also Elon has a lot of resources, right? Even beyond money, just a lot of like infrastructure and like technology and energy, right? So
90% of it is just garbage that doesn't work, but on paper it's valuated
compared to everyone else's stuff, right? Yeah.
Well, and Jeff Bezos seems to have no interest in being friends with Donald Trump.
Right. Publicly, anyway.
If Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos asked to replace Elon Musk, he probably would just replace him.
Yeah.
Right then and there.
Well, Bill Gates was being critical of Doge the other day, saying that it was, I don't know. Oh yeah, he said that we're killing poor kids in another country now by having Doge. Because they cut some sort of fine.
Are these separate poor kids from the one Bill Gates kills in his,
his
factories overseas?
I know.
Is that a different set of poor kids they're killing now?
Yeah, I think so.
Are they like a different nationality.
Probably. I want to say he mentioned malaria,
He's different from the poor Mexican kids he's got working on his farms here in the United States as slaves.
Probably not them.
Yeah. Different. Okay, so different.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out which
His
poor
are
kids,
fine.
which brown kids are getting taken.
You gotta root for your team of poor dying children. Okay.
Pick one. All right. You got the Nigerians. You got the North Koreans.
This is some weird sort of dogfighting match that we've got set up. You take your poor dying kid, and I'll take my poor dying kid.
We'll see which one outlasts.
We'll throw them in a ring.
I'm gonna build a library for mine. I don't know if you guys have the scratch for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Oprah build a library for mine.
Yeah. And Bill Gates is like, and I'm gonna make water out of their poop.
We find everything they say, Bill Gates just mentions poop. They're like, I'm going to build a library for mine. He's like, I'm going to recycle poop into paper for mine.
I'm going to recycle the poor kid that loses into water at the fight.
He might do that too.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh gosh, I feel like I had something. I just lost it.
Was it about Bill Gates?
Probably.
It was about Akon.
Oh yeah, Bill Gates. Bill Gates just got divorced as like a 70-something-year-old man or something.
Well, it was right after the Sex Island scandal.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
after,
okay.
Directly after. So they had the whole scandal with the guy who the CIA has blocked his name from my mind, Epstein.
Yeah.
They had the scandal with that. A list came out, hundreds and thousands of names were on it, including Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And literally like a few days later, Melinda Gates filed for divorce.
Yeah,
he just gave her like 51% of it very, very quietly.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay.
Please don't.
Well, that's like a little better. I feel like a guy asking for a divorce, they'll go like at that age is just like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, just die with them. You know.
Well, that's that's an interesting thought. I mean, I don't know. I've never been old and unloved.
Yeah.
So I don't know what.
One day.
But I've never been like an old man that looks like a turtle, or perhaps like a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Who invented a program called Microsoft Windows. I don't know what it's like to be that person, so.
I'm excited for your Halloween costume this year.
Just go as Bill Gates.
Just go as Bill Gates, yeah.
Man.
Kelly goes as Belinda. I don't know.
I don't know what she looks like.
I don't know who Kelly is either, by the way.
Who is that?
Who is that? I have no idea. Martha Distraction. Yeah.
But you know what else is funny about Elon Musk? We're going to circle back.
Okay.
I feel like we plumbed this mine. I mean, unless you have a few more jabs you want to throw at some billionaires.
I don't. Yeah, no.
I think
they're in my inbox. I got to get back to them. But.
Sometimes I feel bad when I talk too bad about Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just a pitiable.
He's done so much for you.
On some level, yeah. Yeah. He made Microsoft Windows.
Yeah.
And
which nothing is better than Microsoft Windows.
Nothing. I love having a program that's just an ad farm on my computer.
Yeah. It breaks your computer. Yeah.
But you're talking about Elon Musk, and you're saying, oh well, he always said things liberals didn't like.
Yeah.
All right. This was maybe 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Whatever. Check the tape.
And he does. He did.
Yeah.
But he knew how to play the game too, because I was looking. There's an article. It's like, here are all the things that Elon Musk said that he's going to complete 180 on. And in like 2019, he posted like a pride flag on like Pride Month or Pride Day, whatever it is. And he was like, oh yeah, we're so glad to support this historic movement, and if you don't like this, just don't buy a Tesla.
Yeah.
We don't need you buying a Tesla.
Yeah.
This is just one example of how radically this chameleon will flip his script when it benefits.
Yeah.
You know? And it's also crazy that people just like take him at his word.
Yeah.
Right-leaning individuals like, oh yeah, Elon Musk, yeah, he's a conservative. He's just went like a few years ago. He literally said, "Fuck you, don't buy a Tesla, suck my dick and die." Yeah. I mean, your memory is so short.
Gargle my balls, I think it was.
I think he did say something about that.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, man. We need to. They keep trying to take it down. So they have Internet Archive. You know what I mean? Where they record web pages. They basically destroyed it, but we really need to start taking like a better count of the things people have said. Yeah. Because people change their minds, right? But you got to have a documentation when they change their mind. Like, he was saying all this shit. Yeah. Right up until now. Then all of a sudden he's saying all this shit. Right. And now he wants to be a gamer. You familiar with this? Yeah. He's like playing Elden Ring with like a trash build. He's like, yeah. He's boosting on like Warhammer or something like that.
I can't wait to find out that you whooped his ass as the Hulk in Marvel Rivals or something.
That would be hilarious.
That would be fun. Yeah.
What's the spammiest character in Marvel Rivals? Probably like Cloak and Dagger or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like Hela. She's fucked.
Yeah.
The FPS players just wreak havoc as Hela. It would be funny if I just kept spamming Elon Musk as Hela and didn't.
Next time you play Hela in Marvel Rivals, know that it's Elon Musk. So
Elon Musk is on the other end trying to play Wolverine.
In South African. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Does he speak any South African language?
I don't know, but he is South African, so. I mean, I'm American. I don't speak American.
Does it make a lot of sense to have a South African on a committee for in the U.S. government? I mean, I know this is like.
I mean, he can't be president, so it's but yeah. Practically is, so
he's like over there deciding that like we're spending you're from South Africa. Why don't you go to South Africa and help them decide how to allocate their budget? They need help over there.
There seems to be a lot to do there.
They're having budgetary concerns in South Africa.
Budgetary concerns. Yeah. Why don't you fix their budgetary concerns?
Yeah, help them out.
We're sending Elon back to Africa. He's gonna fix the South Africa. They have budgetary concerns. I told him we'll take the cars from here. The cars will be fine. You go fix South Africa. And their budgetary concerns.
I wonder if he goes back to South. I mean, I'm sure if he does, he flies in private and he takes like an armored caravan to his private.
I think that he travels probably the same way that Tom Cruise does, right?
With a time machine.
In a helicopter, a time machine as well.
Tom Cruise travels by re-entering a woman's womb and then time traveling.
And being born over and over again.
Yeah, that's how Tom Cruise travels.
That's a born again Christian.
that's how he's born again something.
He's born again Christian? No, Tom Cruise.
My lord, is it possible for a man to re-enter the womb and to be born again?
I told you to take the Autistic's AK-47. I'm sorry, it's still good. I just love you being referred to as the Autistic. Don't call anyone that, by the way. Except
that's hate speech.
Yeah,
actually, that's actually hate speech.
Yeah. Are you autistic?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
That's the other funny thing. So many people like act like they're autistic now, but there's like videos all over YouTube. They'll hit my feed. They'll be like, "Here's signs that you're masking your autism. Number 4 is crucial." I'm not masking my autism.
Yeah.
I don't have autism.
I'm probably masking my autism, if I'm being honest. I literally heard of like adult onset autism, and I'm like, "Wow, that seems to resonate with me." I'm like,
dang it.
It's fine. This way I can get an AK-47 in the Oval Office while Elon Musk and Donald Trump are there.
Why should I welcome you?
Who the fuck is doing security? Like, who had to let me in? Dick Cheney? I'd like to think Dick Cheney's doing security.
Dick Cheney saw the whole thing and just ran.
He was like, this will actually be hilarious.
I think it's time for me to escape.
I'll tell him we let the Autistic keep his AK-47.
Oh, man.
It's too good. It's too good.
It's really classic. Well, that's a classic scene in cinema. So.
Yeah, it is.
It applies to anything.
One of the best ones.
But, you know, after that shooting incident where Trump got shot at allegedly during the election, and remember I was talking to you about how they had like this obese woman serving on his team, clearly unfit to be in the Secret Service. Yeah. But you saw the video. She's hiding behind Trump, trying to get her weapon.
Yeah, doesn't know what to do. Like
out of her weapon pocket. Like, is this your first day on the job?
It is how it seems.
Good Lord!
But at least the sniper guy they had seemed to know what he was doing. He dropped that guy pretty quick, you know.
They had a sniper drop the other guy.
Yeah, so that's what it was. So if they show the footage, so there was a sniper on the roof behind Trump. And as soon as the shots go off, you see the guy like see him in his sights, and you see him like go like this, like oh crap, and then like he zooms in on a real and drops him like that. You know.
You know that's interesting because a lot of times it takes a minute because you got to have like a spotter.
Yeah, I know it was weird. It was
the whole thing's a little suspicious. I'm gonna put it out there. Yeah. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's like You got the incompetent guard who's like acting like it's her first day on the job, right?
Right.
She can't get her weapon.
Right.
They have like these customized pockets where they hold their weapons.
Right.
And it probably, you do have to learn how to take it out of there.
Right.
She's fumbling her weapon. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to look.
Yeah.
She's touching her earpiece like she's supposed to get some sort of feedback.
Right.
Seems like no feedback is coming.
She was acting like a Secret
Yeah.
Service agent. Like, what, Mr. President?
Hello?
Hello? I was supposed to take the Autistic's AK-47.
Now you tell me. But and then you got this guy on the roof.
I told you to take the Autistic's AK-47. I told you this so many times.
I told you they're dangerous when they're armed. You didn't believe me.
I said without an AK-47 they're a little bit funny, if I'm being honest. I said with an AK-47 they can shoot my ear off. You thought I was joking. Now you can't put your gun away. Why did Melania put you on my Secret Service? Donald, it was funny.
I thought it would be funny.
Oh, why is she Vietnamese now? I thought it would be funny.
But the whole thing, and it's like, and then this guy makes it up on the roof. Like, I know that for a fact that like a mile out, they've got security on like every roof.
Yeah.
How's the guy get on the roof? And then he gets up there, he unpacks all his equipment with no training. With no training, he finds a roof, climbs up on the roof, sets his gear down, unpacks everything. Keep in mind, at this point, snipers take like diazepam and shit like that to like calm their muscles and shit. You know what I mean? Because you can't be trembling when you go for the shot.
Right.
He unpacks all his shit. He's getting ready to rock. He lines up the shot. Nobody's seen him.
Yeah.
Sniper on the other roof has not seen him.
Yeah.
Then he shoots and misses.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Guard bungles it, and then the dude just immediately kills him.
Right.
I mean, it's just a little unusual.
All I know is the picture they released of that little dork.
He doesn't
just
look
like
right,
not an ounce of danger about that little.
You can let him have his knuckle dusters. He's not doing anything.
Right. But not his AK-47.
Nah.
Yeah, the knuckle duster. Yeah. They'll just collect dust off his knuckles.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I'm just like, this guy almost brought down the frickin' world. I don't know.
Well, they say that there's going to be more of that stuff happening. You know. They say we're entering an age of chaos and confusion.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel chaotically confused. Oh, my roommate's here, everyone.
How you doing?
Good.
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm recording. Grab a seat.
Oh man. Blue light?
Bonus content. You want the green.
The blue button.
Blue button. Yeah. Hey everyone, go ahead and introduce yourself. Who do we have joining us today?
Can they see him? Should we shift them?
Probably.
The name is Anders Potter. Anders Otter.
How was what? Ladybird?
Detoxing from the long weekend.
Yeah. What'd you do this weekend?
Too much drinking.
Too much drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those songs make the drink sound so good,
Right?
And then you do it in real life, it's less interesting.
Sky rockets in flight. Why don't you go have a bunch of wine and beer?
Yeah, I was fine. Yeah, I just had a bottle of wine at the pool or whatever, and I was fine until I went back to the house watching 22 Jump Street. I opened up the fridge, and there's an entire six-pack of IPAs.
I mean, what are you going to do with that? Let him sit?
Right?
Yes.
I'm giving Max my Coke Zeros, so,
okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I can wean myself off the Red Bulls.
Yeah,
Coke
you go down to Coke Zero.
You wean yourself off the Coke Zeros with the IPAs.
Yeah.
And you pick up Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. What were you guys talking about?
Oh shit, we're just bullshitting talking about
So hear me out.
Okay.
So in the the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, right?
All right.
You got you got Gandalf, who goes into the throne room with his staff, right? But Grima Wormtongue had told the security guards, like, do not let him come in with his staff, right?
Can't have it.
So he goes in, but when they tried to take it from him, he just goes like, oh, you wouldn't ask an old man to give up his walking stick, so like they let him in with it, right?
Yeah.
So we were making a comparison to, how did we even go about this? Oh, someone's calling.
Nah.
Anyway, the creation that we formed out of this was, I told you to take the Autistic's AK-47.
I love it.
Because I don't even know if we can explain why.
Yeah, okay, I'm sort of with you.
I told you to take the Wizard Staff.
There's a couple of
I told you to
scenarios.
take the Autistic's AK-47. And we've referenced it a few times.
Well, okay, so people watching this are going to be like, not only did you make this joke, but then you later tried to explain the joke again. So I picked up some knuckle dusters.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they're legal in Texas as of 2019. Because, and this was their wording, banning knuckle dusters is discriminatory against African American youths. Somehow. I don't understand how that makes sense. Never seen a black man use knuckle dusters. But anyway. So we were talking like we're gonna go visit Trump and we're gonna depose Elon Musk, and I'll be like, would you take an autistic man's knuckle dusters? and
then it became would you take an Autistic's AK-40? I think he used the term an autistic.
I told you to take his
AK-47. We didn't think it was dangerous, sir.
You know what's funny about that scene? I mean, they did it great in the movie, but they expand on it more in the books, and the whole thing is very shady, right? Because you're supposed to. Gandalf is essentially like a lord, and Aragorn is a lord, and Legolas is a lord, and actually so is Gimli. They're all royalty.
Lourde, like the singer.
Nah. I mean, sure. But when they enter the hall of Theoden, they're supposed to be able to carry their weapons, because that's how it is. Theoden would have his weapon. Everybody would have weapons.
Everyone would be armed to the teeth.
Because they're like Nords.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going to do anything stupid. You know, 4 guys are not going to whip out their weapons against 76 horsemen. You know what I mean? So the fact that he was like asking them to check their weapons at the door, this was like deeply disgraceful.
This is propagandistic gun control.
And this is why Gandalf comes in and the hospitality of your hall is dwindled. Which, coincidentally, is what I said when I entered your house.
Yes.
I said, the hospitality of your crib is dwindled of late, man.
And I was like,
and he said, please take the Coke Zeros as apology. I'm sorry, my lord.
You didn't answer the door, or just the fact that I wasn't here?
No, I didn't say it. It would have been funny if I
this
did
is
that.
a joke, Andrew. This is like
called
not serious.
Joke.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We're having the ha-has.
Yeah.
Have another hee-hee.
Anyway, Nick and I are tired. You carry the rest of the podcast.
I mean, there must be something on your mind. Surely you met somebody zany on your ride or something.
No.
Not really. Yeah, doing my best to just not pay attention to all the ladies and all the butts.
Yeah? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a lot of
9
butts
miles.
in Austin, Texas. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
You know, but the new style is to either wear shorts that basically expose the lower half of your ass cheeks entirely, or to wear compression shorts with no underwear lining underneath, so that basically you can see like completely their pussy lips and like literally their asshole.
Wow.
At the gym. And I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
This is one innovation we can be happy about.
I thought it was amazing the first 2 years I was living here for sure, and then eventually it's just like I gotta.
You got frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Why?
I just gotta mind my own business.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty amazing when you
Stay in
just
your
don't
lane.
think about pussy.
Yeah.
You know, there's freedom.
Yeah.
When you're
Andrew
not.
challenged me for an hour yesterday to do this. And
To not think about pussy?
yeah. But I was like, I got pictures up on my walls of like my cats, and it was very difficult.
Your eyes. You immediately was disgusted with yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the way you approach it. I mean, like, you don't have to interact with everything you see. You know, you can just see something.
Oh no,
and be like,
I have to
"That's cool."
interact with everything I see. I just fucking trees. Fucking look at this. Our pilot light probably just went out, so because I did that.
I'll light it again for you.
Thanks, pal.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably why you guys have this situation right here. Right?
Yeah. If we can't find a pilot light.
No, those binoculars are definitely for that one building that we're trying to figure out.
Which one?
It's like right on the horizon, and my theory is.
See, it's like sticking up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Big square
The
thing.
far building.
Yeah.
360.
I like the towers.
Isn't that over there by like where all the dams are and shit like that?
I'm thinking so. Yeah.
I think that
That's like
building,
bee cave over
the
there.
water.
that building is some kind of facility structure for like dams or like water work maybe.
Water
I could just be making
What
up.
we should do is
I'm
someone
thinking so.
stays here with the binoculars, and one of us goes to whatever building we think that is, tries to get on top of it and jump up and down.
Right.
And if we can see them jumping up and down, we know that was the building.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot easier than using Google Maps.
Yeah. We tried with Google Maps. It's not answering it for us because it's hard to tell the distance. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Or we can just piss off all the nerds on the internet.
Yeah.
And they can geolocate where we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't even have to.
Look it up, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't there like there's like companies that are like operating drones and you can like hop on their feed, can't you? And like look through the drone if you want. I mean, there's probably
That's an idea. Yeah.
It's probably like drones traveling over Austin constantly. I used to get ads for like, do you want to be a drone pilot? Because we're flying drones through Austin constantly. They're like 3D mapping every square inch of the city with.
They do whiz over me all the time at the lake.
Yeah.
They'll start to enter your backyard. A drone will just like come down and stay in your backyard and fuck off.
Yeah.
I do want to build a strong enough laser to actually shoot those things down.
Not
To
difficult.
like fry the microchips.
Wow.
You don't need a laser. You just need like concentrated radio waves to disrupt their shit. The Chinese police. You always have to take everything China reports with a grain of salt. But they report that they've long since like 2015, they've had police officers armed with radio disruption rifles. It looks kind of like a grenade launcher, but basically you use the computer on it, you lock onto a drone, and you scramble it, and then it's like, oh, where am I? What am I? What am I doing? And then it either just falls out or it goes into like an automatic descent to prevent destruction. So, yeah, it's really not that difficult. Like if the public wanted to disrupt drones, it would not be too hard.
Yeah.
We could find a way.
But it is illegal. That's the thing. Is you have like the Federal Communication, like FCC,
Yeah.
something like that, and you're not supposed to be like shooting radio waves like that.
I had a high-powered laser that I got on Amazon for like $6, and I gave it to my neighbor's daughter, which is 5 years old. So she was shooting it up in the sky and stuff like that. That's a no-no.
Well, the lasers you have to keep in mind is against the Geneva Convention technically.
Yeah.
So like radio jamming, not against the Geneva Convention, but using a laser as a weapon. Although it's really against a human target, so you might be good. But...
Yeah, or airplanes.
Oh, or airplanes too. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get really good at throwing knives. And if I see a drone, just
Yep.
walk around with like a butter knife and just
Like a Call of Duty type of thing.
yeah,
Jam it out.
yeah.
World War III will be fought with nukes. World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones, right?
We
Butter
know,
knives.
we know nukes aren't real, right?
Oh,
Nukes
yeah.
aren't real, but Hawaii is. I don't want to hear it.
I'm just saying, it's one of those things, because like, you would think by now they would have used a nuke, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're always saying like, well, we don't want to extinct the human race. Like, you could have fooled me.
Yeah, you seem to be doing a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got something to contribute to the pot.
Okay.
I picked up an Indian.
Yeah?
And I was
Like physically?
I'm doing Uber, and we got to talking about the war with Pakistan, and I was like, okay, so tell me about it. Do you want it? Do you hate it?
Yeah.
Is it justified with the Indian people?
You're talking about the United States going to war against
No,
Pakistan?
in India.
Okay, okay.
India going to war against Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the story goes the Pakistanians shot a whole bunch of tourists in this sort of zone, this territory on the border that's like no man's land. Pakistan doesn't own it, India doesn't own it, but Pakistan killed like 30 people or something like that. So then India retaliated, Pakistan retaliated. Like match.
I mean, for their population, that's like if you killed 0.3 people in the United States. You know?
Yeah.
How many people are in
Per
India?
capita.
But yeah, there's a lot of those like zones that India has that like it's like a border zone, and they have one with China. And this is a story. I hope it's true. I like it to be true just because it's a cool story. So basically, they agreed no weapons on the zone, but they still have soldiers on the zone, right? So they both agreed like, okay, we're not gonna have weapons, but we're still gonna patrol the zone.
Dude.
So what they did is they start training their boys to make fucking throw hands and do kung fu and shit.
Yeah.
On its own.
The dance that they do, have you seen the video? Okay,
Dance
I just
alone.
wanted to double check. We got to show the video to Matt.
Yeah.
So two
It's
patrols,
crazy.
an Indian patrol, and it's like 30 dudes each.
Yeah?
Are like march and they like meet each other.
But
In
it's
the
like
dance off?
this wiggle.
No, they like straight were throwing hands.
Oh, okay,
They're just
okay.
beating each other down
Okay.
for
But
like several
before
minutes.
before they started throwing hands,
They're
they're
wiggling.
doing this like weird Indian wiggle thing.
Okay,
I
okay.
don't know how to explain it.
Wiggle off.
But
I
yeah.
like it. They dance off and then they, you know,
They were probably trying to infuriate their Chinese peers.
gloves off. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing the Chinese hate more than dancing.
Yeah.
They hate the dancing. Every time I go to China, I do a little fun little dance just to show them who's boss. Part of the deal. You do the loop-de-loop and pull, and your shoes are looking
The flick of the
cool.
wrist.
Quiet.
That's
Excuse
another
me.
thing the Indian guy was saying, that like Pakistan is in debt to China. So this is a proxy war. So this whole Pakistan situation is just China's getting compromised with these tariffs, and India is getting all these new deals with the United States. So Pakistan is in debt to China, so they're fighting a war with India through Pakistan. And so there's no separation of church and state, so like the propaganda in India is justifying the war because supposedly Pakistan used to be an Indian territory, but then basically India gave Pakistan to the Muslims, and so there's like
the Sunnis, right?
it's a religious war, but it's also a Chinese war. So,
China created the best wars.
What's interesting with China, because if you ever like get any pro-China like media in your feed, like South China Morning Post, or they have quite a few influencers and YouTubers that are basically on the Chinese side of things, or like on payroll, not officially. But one of the most common like talking points they use is like, look, the United States has been at war consistently for like more than 100 years. They're always at war. We're never at war. But it's not really true, because they are like basically.
I watched
at
the
war.
Vietnam War on film the other day.
oh yeah, it showed Apocalypse Now.
I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
I watched Hamburger Hill. That was cool.
Oh. Yeah, I saw the director's edition, director's cut, Apocalypse Now, and my life has changed.
No.
I didn't know Marlon Brando was a good actor. Now I do.
Well, you just gotta watch more Marlon Brando.
Yeah, I
folks.
know. That's it.
And that's all there is to it.
I'm being facetious, but now I know what happened in Vietnam. All kinds of boating and shooting and Marlon Brando.
And it made you want to go back to Vietnam. For
Yeah,
round two,
back
right?
to it. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, after watching this, I didn't understand what you were saying, but I see that we need to reinvade
Now I'm going back.
Vietnam.
Yep. Yep.
What we could do is we can fake a vampire attack in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this some Scooby-Doo type shit?
No, this would actually happen.
A vampire attack in the Philippines?
Yeah. So the founder of the USS, United States Secret Service, what's his name? Starts with an L, Leonard something. Anyways, basically founded the CIA.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
No.
No?
It's like a Leonard or something. Anyways.
We'll circle back.
Yeah. He, there was a, well, you know why we invaded Vietnam, because supposedly the communist Russians were financing all these different like offshoots, militias that were going against Japan at the time. And so these are just farmers. They don't give a fuck about Russia or their politics. They're just like, I gotta eat. And so Japan was jeopardizing whether or not they could eat. So they're just like building all these militias. So the United States was like, oh, this is financed by, you know all of this, Russia, blah, blah, blah. So this guy basically came up with this idea to tell, because the Filipinos are super superstitious, and so they started these rumors with these embedded people in the Philippines that like there's these vampire attacks. And so these soon-to-be CIA agents would grab, when these militias are walking through the woods, they would grab the last man, pull him back into the woods, kill him, stab 2 holes in the neck, string him up upside down so he'd bleed out, untie him, put him back onto the trail, and so thus began the whole rumor mill of
We got
vampires
vampires.
are basically attacking the militias, and so immediately they were just disbanded.
If you're gonna kill people, that's the funnest way to do it.
So what I'm hearing you say, what I just heard you say, is that vampires are totally real.
Yeah.
Vampires rule the United States, and the United States went to war to conceal the vampires.
Yes.
That's
Correct.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. So they had a TV show. It was like a short series they did, and it came out last year. It's called like The Spy or something like that, or no, it's
Harriet
called, like
the Spy.
No. It was called like Double Agent or something like that, and it was about a Vietnamese double agent.
Oh,
and
with
had Robert Downey Jr.
yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but it's a very good program. But they go over like some of the Vietnamese conflict, and he moves to California, and he's like still a double agent. Never at any point in the show did they mention that Russians were in Vietnam, but they were in Vietnam. They were storing munitions and supplies there.
Right.
So, and again, people always like, well, the farmers. It's like, yeah, there were farmers who had nothing to do with it, but like the Vietnamese government and military, 100% had something to do with it. You know what I mean? They were like, yeah, you can store your shit here. That's fine. So it's always funny how like people talk, well, these people are so innocent. I'm like, yeah, but their government isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if governments didn't like constantly put their citizens in peril over dumb shit?
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool with me.
I just like to think that someone found these guys dead with the holes in their necks, and they're like, "Whoa, Robert Pattinson!"
Some Twilight shit right here.
Where is his AK-47?
We gotta give some credit to the Filipinos, and like
Sure.
at some, I'm sure
They
one
did their
guy's
best.
like
The Filipinos or the Vietnamese?
This is the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
So this yeah.
Oh, we're talking about different countries here.
Yeah,
right.
they are different. To be clear, we know they're different. I'm totally out of frame, but we know they're different.
I think you're in frame.
Okay, cool.
You should be in frame. I don't know if he's in frame, but he probably is.
No one cares.
He's sitting right with us.
Yeah, the chair's in the frame.
Nice.
We're almost out of an hour.
55 minutes.
Well, do we have any closing thoughts?
Don't drink a bottle of wine, go to the pool, then an entire 6-pack of IPAs, because then you're gonna cut your hair. In case you didn't notice.
Oh, I see where the
Oh, you cut it yourself. I advised him to
did.
go to a barber. I gave him a reputable barber, and he cut his hair himself.
I've gone this far, not paying for a haircut.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could look a lot worse. I mean, I didn't even notice, so I'd say you're doing fine.
That's what I told
Thank
him.
you.
He thinks it looks awful. I'm like, it's not a big difference.
A pro barber can still, fix it.
If there
Because you
was
could just
something
tell him
wrong
to fit, because I like that general hairstyle on it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of
General hairstyle.
General hairstyle, sir.
All right, what do you got, Max?
That's it for me.
All right.
Talked out.
All right, cool.
Okay.
My closing words. If you are autistic, you can get in anywhere you want with an AK-47, including the Oval Office. Signing off.
YouTube is going to bury this episode.
Good.